Greetings from a hot and cold South Africa. I think the weather machine is experiencing a maintenance problem. Anyway, maintenance problems in South Africa cause more trouble than this, and we are practically used to it. But that is not what this is all about. I'm going to make some changes to this channel, so I'm going to end off the one era by running through recent cases I've been talking about, and I'm going to do it as quickly as possible. The Bryan Kohberger case, regardless of supposed new evidence and new speculations and motions not granted and the judge allowing bushy eyebrows in as evidence, I am of the opinion that Kohberger is not going to get a fair trial. I am of the opinion that police and or the FBI targeted him because of a tip, more so than the supposed touch DNA on the sheath. I also think the tip came from his one sister. She is not a fan of her brothers, and there's talk that she is more of an oddball than her brother. Her interests, allegedly, lean more towards the macabre and dark side. Remember, right in the beginning, or very early on, how she joined Ann Taylor at the crime scene and appeared to videotape the scene. Well, it certainly looked like her, and no one ever denied that it was her, and that is indeed very odd. There are a number of odd things about this case, and I'm briefly going to touch on some. Bryan was allegedly identified through a minute piece of touch DNA on a knife sheath. Touch DNA, not skin or blood or spittle or semen, but likely a tiny speck of sweat contained in a partial fingerprint. However, the police did not, or could not, trace anyone from a bloody handprint, DNA skin cells under Maddie's fingernails, or blood on the inside of a glove. Legal or illegal, if they could trace Bryan through familial DNA, why not trace these blokes through familial DNA? 3 unknown male samples, allegedly. Well, why is the FBI or law enforcement not trying to trace those people? The judge did not want to allow Cy Ray's testimony, but will allow bushy eyebrows. I mean, really? So seeing that the young lady was, according to her, rather intoxicated, I would like her to look at the screen and tell me which pair of bushy eyebrows it was that she saw that night. Well, sorry guys, you are indeed all off to jail because Dylan Mortensen saw your eyebrows, likely in the dark or dim light while intoxicated. Cheers guys, enjoy the rest of your lives in prison, or even worse, having it cut short in front of a firing squad. Okay, so this was a bit of a circus in front of Judge, but now it is a full-blown Cirque du Soleil. Okay, next one. Sebastian Rogers. We have had a case where police are refusing to do their job. Remember, I'm talking about my own security camera catching a bloke with a distinctive jacket climbing over our fence and stealing a piece of shade cloth. And within 2 to 3 hours, the police sent us a WhatsApp. No leads, they closed the file. Well, the Sebastian Rogers case appears to be the same thing. Law enforcement is likely happy that the mom and her husband appointed a private detective, because now they can step away and deal with traffic violations and shoplifting and so on. I sincerely think that the child can be found one way or another if police try harder and put just a little more pressure on certain people. I may be way off, but I watched an interview with Chris and Katie Proudfoot, a very recent one. And I watched Katie, particularly her eyes and the tears, which I thought was genuine. But that is, for me, a look of a mother who is deeply saddened because she knows her child is not coming back because he is dead, in my not so humble opinion. Also, in my not so humble opinion, Katie knows what happened and she likely deeply regrets what happened. Or it was not supposed to go down the way it did. I believe that Katie is at her most vulnerable at the moment, and if she is interrogated on her own with a little pressure from the interrogator, she will crack and spill the truth. Summer Wells. They say no news is good news, but in this case it is not. There is supposed new evidence every now and then, but I certainly cannot see any results or changes. I think we have a similar scenario here where the mother, Candace, likely has a pretty good idea of what happened, but not enough pressure has been put on her to convince her to spill her guts. It is my personal belief that Summer Wells is indeed deceased. There is another similarity between the Summer Wells case and the Sebastian Rogers case, and that is, in both cases, the grandparents or step-grandparents in Sebastian's case and grandmother in Summer Wells's case left town and the county shortly after the child disappeared. In my opinion, it is possible that they could have been responsible for the disposal of the bodies. Allegedly, maybe, my opinion only. Michael Vaughn. I have been unable to find any update on this case. I think we are mostly convinced that Michael is indeed deceased, but I think most of us also agree that the time for justice has passed a long time ago. Laurie Vallow was found guilty of conspiracy to murder her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. It is likely that she will get yet another life sentence on top of the others. She's also scheduled to go on trial again in June, accused of plotting to kill Brandon Boudreau, the ex-husband of her niece Melanie. And why Melanie is not her co-accused, standing trial right alongside her, I still do not know. Okay, so that is as far as we got on these cases, and next time something is posted on this channel, it will likely look and sound a little different. So until then, please take care and stay safe. Bye.